The Daily Beast has uncovered another website that was incredibly active on social media during and after the election that was actually run by Russian trolls. Now, the website was known as BlackMattersUS, and you might have seen posts by this organization on Facebook because it was all over the place. A lot of their posts went viral. Now, recent information about this group of trolls indicates that they were trying to spread fake information or propaganda indicating that black activists in the United States were launching a war on Christmas, and that they were selling merchandise that supported this so-called war on Christmas. So let me give you the details. According to Ben Collins at the Daily Beast, BlackMattersUS, which independent Russian media outlet RBC identified as one of the most influential websites and troll accounts operated out of the Kremlin-backed internet research agency, pushed t-shirts imploring its users to say no to ho ho ho, alongside a picture of a candy cane. They printed a lot of shirts. By the way, they sold some of this merchandise. They printed shirts that made no sense. I'll give you another example. One said, "Dear cops, don't shoot, suck," which
it reminds me of the shirts I used to see in Turkey when I was growing up, like in the 1970s. And they were trying to copy like the Los Angeles Lakers, but they didn't know what they were doing. And so it would be like the Los Angeles Suckers.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Luckers.
Yes, Adidas.
Adidas, oh yeah, but the Adidas is done on purpose to try to trick people.
Yes.
But the rest is just clownorama.
Yes.
And they're doing a troll farm here, but they didn't bother doing any research, so they're like, and they don't apparently or hire anyone that actually speaks fluent English. So, but they also said racist things too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so I'll give you another example. A sweatshirt sold by BlackMattersUS, its holiday store, said boycott Christmas, black don't need white Xmas. And by the way, these are apparently still available for nearly $40.
But now people are gonna buy it like for shtick, you know? Like JR always wears the t-shirts of guys who were on teams for like 13 seconds. Like you could barely get them. Now this is gonna be like a collector's item. Black don't need white Xmas. Oh, is that what black says?
Yeah, there was one that said thug life, and the imagery included handguns and Christmas trees.
Yeah, and so let's get to the Russian government and whoever's paying for this and their racism. So they have a Black Christmas only, and there's a gun in a stocking. Why would Black Americans want to buy that? Like so, like oh yeah, Black Christmas is where we shoot people. Okay, and then there's a thug life reference. And then they suggested that African Americans boycott the holiday because, quote, you can't afford it. I'm not sure that any of this actually appeals to African Americans, which by the way, actually I am sure because it didn't. None of this stuff sold and it didn't work. But the attempt to divide us based on race is really, really disturbing.
So what's interesting about this particular campaign that they launched was both how unsophisticated and in some ways sophisticated it was. Because these Russian trolls were obviously aware that every holiday season there is this nonsense talking point from the right in regard to a war on Christmas. There's a war on Christmas in the United States. There's no war on Christmas. If someone says happy holidays, it's not the end of the world, right? But they apparently knew that, and so they utilized that talking point as a way of driving a further wedge between races in the country. And so you're right, Cenk, this particular campaign didn't seem to work as much as other campaigns that were launched by these Russian trolls. But I do want to go to a pretty great ABC video, ABC News video on this topic, because they focus specifically on BlackMattersUS and some of the other strategies that they utilize. Take a look.
Hey, BlackMattersUS. Hey.
A stunning claim tonight about just who's behind the group promoted in this music video, BlackMattersUS. Congressional investigators say BlackMattersUS was actually set up by the Russians during the 2016 election to stir up racial tensions.
It's not fair. I don't think it's fair.
Black matters.
The St. Louis rapper who wrote the music for the video says he got Instagram messages from people he did not know asking him to write a song dealing with police brutality.
I had no clue that it was Russian or anything like that. No, sir, it messed me up.
all part of a sophisticated campaign that included Facebook ads, Twitter posts, and efforts to organize at least 2 big rallies, one against police brutality. U.S. investigators believe it was directed from this so-called troll factory in St. Petersburg, Russia.
It's a way to suppress votes and stoke fear, the level of sophistication that I don't think we appreciated at the time.
So they would also utilize, Black Americans for some of these campaigns and make it seem as though what they were doing was good or legitimate.
So, anybody still think that the Russian government is perfectly innocent and there's no proof? There's no proof. How much proof do you need? If you hear anybody saying that, they are being purposely blind. And not the Russian people, but the Russian government wants to tear us apart. They want to tear us apart politically. They want to tear us apart racially. I'm not a right winger. I have no. In the old days, when the right wingers had this weird distaste of Russia, right, back from the old Soviet Union,
the communism.
Oh, the commies. I'm not in that camp. I'm not in the left wing camp that has this weird love affair with Russia. I don't know why you have a love affair with Russia. It's led by a dictator that has destroyed and pulverized democracy in Russia, that murders journalists. I don't know why anyone who's a progressive in their right mind would want to defend the Russian government. Are you a lunatic? Okay, now that doesn't mean I want to go to war with Russia. Okay, no, that is not a natural conclusion to I can't stand the Russian government. But for Putin, who authorized all these campaigns, anyone who defends him in America is nuts. I don't get it from a progressive point of view. I don't get it from a right-wing point of view. The right-wingers are now so smitten with their dear leader, Trump, says Trump loves Putin because Putin probably bailed him out of more bankruptcies. And now you want that corruption is what you support? Okay, you're an idiot. Okay, so look at what they did. Look at what they did. They're trying to tear us apart and get white people to hate black people and black people to hate white people in this country. So fuck Putin and all of his attempts here. Now that doesn't mean that the consequences of that are whether it's war or anything else. Look, Mueller's doing his investigation. That's a separate issue. Let him do the investigation, see what he finds. If he finds connections, let him prosecute that. If he doesn't, then we don't get to prosecute it. I understand that the US also does propaganda. I understand that the US historically has done some terrible things in foreign countries. I'm not in favor of that.
Right, and we talk about those things and we criticize those things as well, including, when the JFK documents were released, a portion of them, what type of propaganda, not just propaganda, what the CIA was planning on doing to Cuban refugees in South Florida just to drum up support for invading Cuba. Like, we criticize those things all the time as well.
But that doesn't vitiate what Putin is doing right now. You can think those things at the same time. What the US government did was bad, and what the Russian government is doing today to rip us apart is terrible. So fuck Putin. I just want to be absolutely clear about that. Help us build independent media together. TYTnetwork.com/join.